You know what that music means. Thank you for tuning in to this brand new Round 2 Wrestling podcast here on the 15th of November, 2023. We have a shorter episode this week. Not a lot of rumors, not a lot of news, plenty of title matches, and a good helping of Did You Know Pro Wrestling Facts. I am your host, SlimmDa KID, and for you first-time listeners, let me break it down for you. Round 2 Wrestling is very similar to a news broadcast. We have 4 segments, or in this case, 4 rounds that we go over every single week. Round 1, the Pro Wrestling Rumor Mill. This could be BS, or it could have a grain of truth to it. It's up to you, the fan, to decide what you'd like to believe. Move on to Round 2, Pro Wrestling News. This is actual, factual, confirmed news across multiple news outlets. We then move on to Round 3, title matches and their exclusive results brought to you by me, SlimmDa KID and Round 2 Wrestling. We will then conclude this brand new podcast with a fan and producer favorite, Did You Know? Did you know are little bits of information and facts about the wrestling world that you may or may not have known about. However, we're going to kick things off by taking a listen to the what-ifs and maybes going on in the world. This is Round 1, the Pro Wrestling Rumor Mill. Here we go. WWE has quote-unquote heavy interest in Will Ospreay per Fightful Select. The site's WWE sources say the two sides have been in contact, but people close to Ospreay couldn't confirm if they actually were communicating. WWE's John Cena appears to be finished with WWE for now, according to Sports Illustrated's Justin Barrasso, who also writes that Cena is expected to be at WrestleMania 40 next year in some capacity, quote-unquote. On Wrestling Observer Radio, Dave Meltzer said the rumored networks looking at making a deal for the rights to Monday Night Raw are FX, the WB, and USA. This is an interesting rumor because the WB is also the home of AEW. Could they double down and double dip into pro wrestling? Or will they have to make a decision? Do they want WWE or do they want AEW? We here at Round 2 Wrestling have a little saying, only time will tell. Sources told PW Insider that AEW and The Bunny, quote, mutually agreed to part ways, end quote. What will happen to the tag team of The Butcher and The Blade without their valet? Tune into AEW Dynamite, Collision, and Rampage to find out for yourself. After Booker T's claim that he heard people say LA Knight has a bad attitude, BWE responded to shut this down by saying Knight is absolutely loved in WWE and the locker room. F4W Online's Dave Meltzer was told the idea of Drew McIntyre joining the Judgment Day's team at War Games is under consideration and could happen, quote-unquote. For those of you who tuned in to Monday Night Raw, this in fact actually happened. What direction it will go after this has yet to be seen. Brock Lesnar won't be back in WWE until Royal Rumble next year, says the Wrestling Observer. So 2 of WWE's highest draws, Brock Lesnar and John Cena and Roman Reigns, that's 3 now confirmed, won't be back until 2024. That draws to a conclusion Round 1 and the Pro Wrestling Rumor Mill. Let's move right into Round 2, Pro Wrestling News. WWE releases date for annual Tribute to the Troops special. TKO Group Holdings announced that the 21st annual Tribute to the Troops will air Friday, December 8th at 8 p.m. Eastern Time on Fox. The event will take place in Providence, Rhode Island at the Amica Mutual Pavilion. Newest wrestling movie, Iron Claw, has Wrestling World Champion as its producer.
You what?
That's right. AEW World Heavyweight Champion Maxwell Jacob Freeman revealed this week that he is not only an actor in the soon-to-be-released biopic, but he is also an executive producer on the film. MJF will play the role of Lance Von Erich, the quote-unquote cousin of the fabled Von Erich family, while Hollywood star Zac Efron will play Kevin Von Erich. Iron Claw will be in theaters everywhere December 22nd. UK-based wrestling promotion to shut down its weekly Fight Club brand.
You what?
ICW, or Insane Championship Wrestling, is one of England's most iconic wrestling promotions today, starting in February 2015. ICW Fight Club send-off will be December 17th at the ICW Asylum in Glasgow, Scotland. Several WWE wrestlers have come through ICW, including but not limited to Drew McIntyre, Piper Niven, Alba Fire, and Isla Dawn, and former NXT Tag Team Champions Gallus. Former WWE manager pleads guilty to DUI/vehicular manslaughter.
You what?
Tammy Sonny Sitch is set to be sentenced on November 27th after pleading guilty to multiple charges stemming from a fatal traffic accident that occurred in March 2022. Sitch, whose blood alcohol level at the time of the incident was 3.5 times the legal limit, caused a 3-car accident resulting in the death of 75-year-old Julian LaFrancis Lassiter Jr. Sitch is no stranger to legal issues and DUIs. In 2019, Sitch was sentenced to 33 months of probation for a DUI violation. Released from prison February 2021, Sitch was incarcerated a month later for another DUI charge. Sitch faces up to 25 years in prison. Current wrestling announcer to miss New Japan Pro Wrestling's Wrestle Kingdom for the first time since 2015.
You what?
AEW's Kevin Kelly, the voice of Saturday Night Collision, announces he will miss calling New Japan Pro Wrestling Wrestle Kingdom due to family commitments, the first such time he will miss Wrestle Kingdom since he started making calls back in 2015. Kelly is an accomplished announcer working for several large wrestling promotions such as the WWF/WWE, Major League Wrestling, Ring of Honor, New Japan Pro Wrestling, and AEW. That draws to a conclusion. Round 2 and pro wrestling news. We're going to keep right along on schedule and move right into round 3 title matches. However, warning, before we give away these matches, we have to say that this may contain spoilers, including results from AEW, Ring of Honor, WWE, NXT, Impact, GCW, MLW, NWA, CMLL, AAA, the New Japan Pro Wrestling Lone Star Shootout pay-per-view, and more. AEW World Heavyweight Champion Maxwell Jacob Freeman defeated Daniel Garcia to retain the AEW World Heavyweight Championship. Ring of Honor World Television Champion Samoa Joe defeated Keith Lee to retain the Ring of Honor World Television title. Samoa Joe would vacate the Ring of Honor Television title after a successful defense after his match. Crazy Steve defeated Impact Digital Media Champion Tommy Dreamer via disqualification. Dreamer retains the Impact Digital Media Championship. Impact World Champion Alex Shelley defeated Jonathan Gresham to retain the Impact World Championship. AAA Latin American Champion QT Marshall defeated Aaron Solo to retain the AAA Latin American Championship. WWE Undisputed Tag Team Champions Judgment Day defeated Cody Rhodes and Jey Uso to retain the WWE Undisputed Tag Team titles. NWA Women's World Television Champion Max the Impaler defeated Misa Kate to retain the NWA Women's World Television title. Tony D'Angelo and Channing Stax Lorenzo defeated NXT Tag Team Champions Chase U to become the new NXT Tag Team Champions. NWA Junior Heavyweight Champion Colby Corino defeated Mo Jabari to retain the NWA Junior Heavyweight Championship. NWA Women's Tag Team Champions Pretty Empowered defeated the King Bees to retain the NWA Women's Tag Team titles. NWA World Heavyweight Champion EC3 defeated Talos to retain the NWA World Heavyweight Championship. NXT Heritage Cup Champion Noam Dar defeated Chad Gable to retain the NXT Heritage Cup. NXT Women's Champion Lyra Valkyra defeated Z Lee to retain the NXT Women's Championship. CMLL Women's World Champion Stephanie Vacuer defeated Rain to retain the CMLL Women's World Championship. That is the end of round 3 and title matches. Be sure to listen to this particular round 2 podcast in case you missed any one of those title match results and whether or not your favorite champion in your favorite promotion retained or if a new champion was crowned. We are at the end of round 2 wrestling. We are going to move right into round 4. Did you know? Did you know are little bits of information and facts about the wrestling world you may or may not have known about. You gotta love the bell. Did you know WWE's Austin Theory had a small cameo role in the movie Spider-Man: Homecoming? Did you know John Cena has either main evented or had a WWE Championship match in all 5 of the company's highest WrestleMania pay-per-view buys in history? Did you know AEW's Billy Starks and Nick Wayne have become the youngest male and female wrestlers, 18 years old, to wrestle a mainstream pay-per-view, WrestleDream? Did you know the 41st President of the United States, George H.W. Bush, was a big fan of professional wrestling? Many times he could be spotted ringside at shows for the Houston, Texas territory run by promoter Paul Boesch. When Bush was elected president, he invited Boesch to his inauguration. Did you know before becoming the 9th wonder of the world, China, in the WWF, Joanie Lawler wrestled on the independent circle as Joanie Lee? Did you know Booker T is a Grand Slam champion in both WCW and WWE? And did you know AJ Styles turned down a WWE developmental deal in 2002 to be sent to Heartland Wrestling in Cincinnati, Ohio? His reasoning was to allow his wife to fulfill her dream of becoming a school teacher. That draws to a conclusion. Round 2 wrestling. I am your host, SlimmDa KID, and I personally want to thank you for tuning into this brand new podcast. Be sure to tune in next week as I bring you another new episode with more news, more rumors, and more results from the world of professional wrestling. Round 2 Wrestling is brought to you by SlimmDa KID and Spreaker.com.